Camera modes are like your gears in a car. You wouldn't know how to drive if you didn't know how to shift gears, so let's look at what each different mode does and how we can use it. Your first mode is your full auto, or point and shoot. After that, you've got your program mode. After that, you've got your AV mode, which stands for aperture value. Then you have your TV mode, which stands for time value. Then you have your manual mode, which is full manual. And last but not least is your B mode, which stands for bulb mode. Let's start to investigate and see how we can use each one of these modes. First mode is your point and shoot, or your full auto. It sounds great. You point your camera through and the camera takes control of everything. Unfortunately, you have no creative control at all. If you're in badly lit scenes or backlit scenes, there's a lot of inaccuracies with the camera. And the only things really you have control over is your resolution and your flash modes. So let's move on to the other modes and find out how we can use them. Program mode. It's like a smart version of auto mode. You've got control over white balance, shutter speed, flash control, and a few other things, but besides that, the camera controls everything. It's just for those people who just want to dip their feet into the water after coming out of the auto mode. The next mode we have is your AV mode. It's a very important mode to know about because 99.9% of photographers are in this mode. You dial in the depth of field you want and the camera handles the rest. When I'm talking about depth of field, I'm talking about if you've got a shallow depth of field, your subject's in focus here and everything behind them is out of focus. That's something like an f2.8. But if you have a wide depth of field, for example a landscape shot, everything's in focus and that's something like an f22. So you dial in your f22, the camera controls the rest, and it's a really great mode to know about. Our next mode is our TV mode, or S on some cameras. The TV stands for time value. And now that time value is the length of time that your shutter is open. This controls your motion in your shots. It's a must for sports photographers who want to dial in something like 1,000ths per second and really freeze frame the action. Or you could be a nature photographer and be shooting a stream and you'll lower it to something like 1/10 of a second and you shoot the stream and you get that nice flowing of the water and the frothing up of the water as well. So your TV controls the motion in your shots. Manual mode. Manual mode is the most creative mode the camera has. You pretty much control everything in the camera. It gives you recommendations of what you should use, but it doesn't use them. You really need to know about shutter speed, aperture and ISO before you attempt to use this mode. And last but not least is our B mode, which stands for bulb. The name derives from in the old days, the photographers used to have to sit there with a bulb holding the shutter open. We use our bulb mode for getting long exposure shots, for example a nighttime shot, 3 or 4 minutes. So there you have it, camera modes. The three that I really want you to start to concentrate on is your manual mode, your TV mode and your AV mode. If you learn how to use these three modes, you can shoot any situation.